A noblewoman fanned herself lightly. Heavens, Yulia, Miss Primrose is back. Another noblewoman whispered in agreement. They say she's achieved incredible success in the business world. I doubt there's anyone in high society who doesn't know of her now. Yulia walked with a steady pace, step by step, into everyone's line of sight. A gentleman whispered in disbelief, the young lady who left her family to make it on her own. Another, older nobleman added, she was named one of the 10 business leaders who are shaking the empire. Not only that, she was ranked number 1. Gold cascaded down Yulia's gown like rain with every step she took. It was as if she were sowing wealth. A noblewoman stared, dumbfounded. Good heavens, how rich must she be to sew gems that large onto her dress? Another 2 noblewomen laughed scornfully. How naive, how could those gems possibly be real? No, they are real. Yulia's voice wasn't loud, but it carried clearly to everyone's ears. Everything on me is a genuine gemstone. The 2 noblewomen stared at her. Miss Primrose. Yulia turned to them. My company, Unite, has long since expanded beyond cosmetics. We have an official partnership with the Imperial Trade Guild and have also ventured into the jewelry business. By the way, Yulia's gaze was as sharp as a knife. It landed precisely on one of the noblewomen. Madam, your skin appears to be quite dry. If you visit Unite, I would be happy to recommend a suitable skincare product for you. It's made with my blessing ability, so its effects are absolutely guaranteed. Noblewoman was both surprised and flattered. Really? Oh, thank you so much, Miss Primrose. She hurriedly bowed in apology. Please forgive my rude remarks just now. I just thought that a lady like you wouldn't know much about business. Yulia's expression was calm. I've been interested in this field since I was a child. Of course, it's normal that you wouldn't know. After all, you've never paid any attention to me. To you, I will always be just Lylyrica's boring older sister, won't I? And yet, you just acted as if you knew me so well, judging me from head to toe. The noblewoman's body trembled. No, Miss Primrose, you've misunderstood. She desperately grabbed Yulia's gown. Please, give me one more chance to explain. In the past, if I had been this sharp, it would have caused an enormous uproar. Now, not even the proudest nobles are an exception. In the face of wealth, I was born the eldest daughter of the ducal house of Primrose. I have an older brother, Jixin, and a younger half-sister, Lylyrica. Those 2 were a part of my life. Lylyrica, an illegitimate child, stepped through the doors of the ducal manor. She had a naturally cheerful disposition, and soon won everyone's affection. Before long, it was overshadowed by her light. I was introverted and prickly. People always compared me to her. One was the lovable illegitimate daughter. The other, the cold and distant legitimate one. It was a story people loved to hear. Our roles were set just like that. But at least, I still had hope. A hope, in the name of a blessing. My blessing could bring withered plants back to life. It could make flowers bloom out of season. It was a power that truly made all things grow. Then, a huge social problem erupted, the amount of lead in cosmetics. It was taking the lives of many noblewomen. I used my ability to create all-natural cosmetics. Its arrival caused a huge sensation, not just in high society, but throughout the entire empire. And just like that, I, the ugly duckling of the Duke's family, applied my ability to business. I became the wealthiest person in the empire. The sound of hurried footsteps approached. Sister. Yulia turned at the sound of the voice. Lyrica was standing at the bottom of the stairs. How could you not contact me, not even once? Lyrica's voice was choked with sobs. Do you know how worried I was? Even if you ran away from home, you should have at least sent word. Yulia responded coldly. It's been a long time, Lyrica. Lyrica's gaze froze when she noticed the diamond necklace on her neck. But, sister, you like jewelry? Didn't you throw away the diamond necklace father gave you? I thought you didn't like things like this. Yulia turned her head away. Her expression was ice cold. I no longer wish to wear anything given to me by Duke Primrose. Oh my goodness, sister. Lyrica covered her mouth in shock. Did you just call him Duke Primrose? Lyrica asked in disbelief. How can you call father that? Even if he hurt you. This is going too far. Tears welled up in her eyes. She gasped. You're still so cold toward your own family. I was such a fool to expect you might have changed. Yulia stared at her coldly. You're the one who hasn't changed. Lyrica. A cold smile touched Yulia's lips. A weak illegitimate daughter, and the cruel legitimate daughter who tormented her. That's the image you created behind my back. Duke Primrose strode toward them. Lyrica's right. How can you call your own father, Duke? Treating me like a complete stranger? Lyrica looked at him, panicked. Father. He continued to close in. I know you don't like me, but... Duke Primrose extended his hand. Blood ties aren't something you can just sever. Come now, take my hand. I will escort you. Yulia closed her eyes. She took a deep breath. Why is everyone exactly as I expected? Yulia. Jixin's voice rang out. He smiled and offered his hand. The first dance. Shouldn't it be with your brother? Yulia shot Jixin a disdainful look. Is this really necessary? I have already extended an olive branch to you. Yulia? Miss Primrose? A strange man interrupted. He extended his hand with a charming smile. don't be like that. How about a dance with me instead? There's nothing between this young lady and me yet. Nothing? Duke Primrose seethed with rage. What is that supposed to mean? Proposing to Lyrica right in front of Yulia. What right do you have to be here? Jixin also roared, that's right, Vieira. People like you don't deserve to be here, you scum. Yulia's thoughts churned. Did they ever stop to think about how they treated me before I became successful? That man betrayed me. He got together with my sister. And father always protected Lyrica. He only ever yelled at me. In the end, he even poisoned his own daughter. After all that, do they really think they have the right to reach out to me? Yulia watched with cold eyes as countless hands reached out for her. How utterly shameless. She turned and walked toward someone else. I'm sorry, I already have a dance partner. What? You? Yulia, a voice called out. I'm sorry I'm late. You're late because of the favor I asked of you. Duke Primrose stopped in his tracks. No, that person is. Yulia tightened her grip on her partner's hand. She smiled and announced, everyone, come and say hello. This is my dance partner. Yulia's smile vanished. Her eyes turned ice cold. So, you can all leave now. The ugly duckling that everyone used to mock. Her story of becoming a swan has only just begun. I remember my own death clearly. Yulia knelt on the cold floor, gasping desperately for air. Father, brother, please, I'm begging you, save me. The frigid weather, the floor that held no warmth. And father's voice, colder than all of it. This is the last mercy I will grant you. I do not wish to draw my sword, so make the wise choice. A goblet filled with poison was pushed in front of her. Her pale face was reflected in the liquid. To poison your own daughter. And call it mercy. Yulia picked up the goblet. I would rather go to heaven and find mother than continue living like this. She downed the poison in one gulp. A searing pain followed. She convulsed violently, a pained moan escaping her throat. The goblet slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor. Lyrica's voice rang out, Father. Letting her die so easily is far too merciful, Jixin said coldly. Considering everything she has done up to now. The father's gaze darkened. Watch your words, Jixin. She is, after all, your sister. Jixin flatly denied it. From the moment Lyrica arrived, she became my only sister. As of today, the name of our ducal house will no longer suffer any stain. Yulia collapsed onto the floor. Blood trickled from the corner of her mouth. My family, as I lay dying, coughing up blood before them, was already desperate to erase any trace of me. Why did my life turn out this way? Those contemptuous looks, as if I were worse than trash on the street. Killed at the hands of my own family, betrayed by the man I loved. A miserable life. Everything was meaningless. I had been trying to run, but in the end, I still ended up here. Just because. Stop, you wicked woman. A figure chased after her, his footsteps hurried. He grabbed Yulia's wrist. How could you? He was the man I had once so passionately pursued. My fiancé. In that moment, I finally understood. No one in this world loved me. No, there was one person. My mother, who passed away not long ago. The love she gave me was the only real thing. When I was a child, I could rest in my mother's embrace. Blissfully unaware of everything, I never thought I would die like this. It's really over now. Yulia's eyelids trembled heavily as her vision gradually began to blur. Blood dripped onto the floor. As her consciousness faded, forgotten memories surfaced. Have you read this novel? What's it about? It's one of those child-rearing stories that are popular these days. The title is, Please Love the Abandoned Princesses. The main character is a girl named Lyrica. She's a commoner, who is suddenly transformed into the daughter of a duke. At first, she's despised for being an illegitimate child. But with her bright and lively personality, she eventually wins the love of her father and brothers. It's a story about punishing a wicked stepmother and stepsister. A cliched, yet beautiful, story. Yulia Primrose, a typical villainess. Why am I only remembering this now? Out of jealousy, she constantly tormented the protagonist. I am that Yulia, lying amongst thorns and black roses. So, I was Yulia all along. Blood trickled from the corner of her mouth. Her consciousness grew clearer. This place, it's the world from the novel I read in my past life. I should have realized it the moment Lyrica set foot in our home. Father holding her hand. A strange girl I'd never seen before. She monopolized the love of our father and brothers. And as for me, I could never compare to my younger sister. And I gradually earned their resentment. Soon enough, Lyrica had even won over all of high society. The more she was loved, the more I was hated. Even my own fiancé became involved with her and demanded we break our engagement. Now I understand why I was always so loathsome. It was because of that damned original novel. But, Mother, meeting you was the only good thing that ever happened to me. Yulia let out a bitter smile. Mother, I'm coming to join you now. Goodbye. Goodbye to this tiresome ducal house. Why Mona? Goodbye. YM. My miserable life. YM Mona. Ends just like this. And so, I met my miserable end. Ah, a shout jolted her awake. Yulia's eyes snapped open to a familiar face. Oh, my Yulia. Mother? Yulia's vision was blurry. She saw her mother, who had passed away long ago. You're finally awake. A hand gently touched Yulia's forehead. Let me see if the fever's gone down. Yulia grabbed the hand. Mother, where am I? Mother, your hands are covered in calluses. Oh, goodness. It's still very hot. You just had a nightmare. The doctor said you'll be fine once the fever breaks. She comforted her softly. Could it be that all of that was just a nightmare? Tears streamed down Yulia's face. It seems so, but it can't be. Everything felt too real. Yulia lay in bed, looking at her mother. Mother, I'm not dead. Could this be heaven? Her mother's eyes filled with heartache. Oh, you poor thing. You must have been in so much pain. She gently stroked Yulia's hair. You've only just turned 19. How could you possibly be dead? What? Yulia's pupils suddenly contracted. Just 19. Knock on the door, and a voice came from outside. Mother, we're here. Yulia's mother answered. Oh, okay, come in. The door creaked open, light streamed in, and Lyrica stepped inside. Sister, you're awake. That's wonderful. Yulia's gaze fell on the doorway. Lyrica, and her brother, Jixin. Yes. Was it just a long dream, or have I gone back in time? A relieved smile appeared on her mother's face. Your timing is perfect. She turned to Jixin and Lyrica. I'm going to get the doctor. Can you two look after Yulia for a moment? Lyrica immediately responded. Of course, mother. Don't you worry. Her mother whispered. Thank you. The door closed softly. Jixin crossed his arms and spoke coldly. You said you were sick? He looked down at Yulia in the bed. You look perfectly fine. You're too old to be faking sick like this. Yulia's body instantly went rigid. I'd heard those words before. When I was recovering from a serious illness, my brother had said the exact same thing to me. If all of that was just a fever dream, then the pain of drinking my father's poison wouldn't feel so vivid. I died in the winter of my 19th year, but mother says I've just turned 19. If this isn't a dream. Yulia's fingers tightened, gripping the bedsheet. Could it be that we're back to a year ago? Jixin's tone was full of suspicion. Are you really sick? You're not just faking it to get out of Lyrica's birthday party, are you? Lyrica dazedly grabbed his arm. Brother, what are you saying? Julia's thoughts fell into a cold darkness. Father, letting her die so easily was too merciful. Think about everything she's done. From the moment Lyrica entered our lives. My only sister is her. Those were Jixin's words right before Julia died. Word for word, that venomous voice still echoes in my mind. Even if time is turned back, a person's nature doesn't change. Lyrica softly chided. Brother, you're going too far. She turned to Julia. Sister, please don't mind what my brother said. I'm so happy you've woken up safely. Julia let out a cold laugh. Happy? What was hidden behind that angelic smile? Lyrica, beneath that innocent face, hid endless evil. Lyrica, this is a misunderstanding. Are you playing dumb, or do you really not know? What are you talking about? Of course, I know it's a misunderstanding, because this was all you're doing. She has always been the demon who dragged me into the abyss. Before that, we were merely acquaintances who would nod to each other. Until Lyrica truly showed her true colors. She looked at the embroidery in my hands. You're so skilled. Julia's movements paused. Lyrica said with a smile, if you don't mind, could you do me a favor? There's something I want to finish. She flashed a brilliant smile. But I don't think I can do it alone. If only I had realized back then that it was just the devil's whisper. Father's roar tore through the air. Julia, how could you do something like this? A tattered handkerchief. It was the only memento from Lyrica's mother. We've tolerated you bullying her for long enough. Julia knelt on the floor. Lyrica stood beside their father. A look of fear on her face. She raised her tear-filled eyes. No, father, I've never bullied Lyrica, and I didn't tear her handkerchief. Father's voice grew even sterner. Are you saying Lyrica tore her own mother's memento? Someone saw you holding it. Julia explained urgently. She asked me to embroider it for her. This has to be a misunderstanding. Julia looked desperately at Lyrica. Lyrica, tell them. Why would you? Lyrica's voice trembled. That's right. I did ask my sister to embroider it for me. She raised a hand to cover her face. But I never thought she would. Tear it to pieces. Lies. Julia's mind was screaming. This Julia is really too much. No matter how she felt, she shouldn't have taken it out on her mother's memento. Why was everyone on Lyrica's side? From that day on, Lyrica used even more cunning tricks to lure me into her trap, step by step. She took everything from me and painted me as the villain. She made everyone point their fingers at me. Lyrica's voice was filled with fake concern. Sister, you're unusually quiet today. Jixin scoffed. Ha, see? I told you she was faking it. She just wants to skip your birthday banquet to ruin the mood. Yulia remained silent. Lyrica turned to Jixin. Brother, it's not like that. Of course sister will come. To make the banquet even more special. Yulia's voice rang out. Of course, she said, walking over slowly. How could I possibly miss Lyrica's birthday? To suggest I would, that's just hurtful. She stood before Lyrica. Happy birthday, in advance. My dear sister, Yulia's smile was filled with meaning. I'm sure, this will be an unforgettable day. Even before I was reborn, Lyrica's birthday was, for me, also seared into my memory. Because Lyrica gave me the wrong dress code, I was humiliated and ridiculed in that dress. Yulia's eyes were cold and sharp. This time, I won't be swayed by Lyrica's words again. I will get my revenge on everyone who ruined my life. Revenge, starting with Lyrica. Then, my father and brother. The ones who handed me the poison wine themselves. And finally, my fiancé. The man who married Lyrica right after I died. The man I once pursued so passionately. In the end, he and Lyrica betrayed me, and he even helped her torment me. He participated in my murder. Marcel Vieira, the young lord. This time, I will escape their clutches and save my mother. And then, I will live happily. If this is the second chance I've been given. Yulia's gaze was resolute as she clenched her fists. I will throw away the trash that's not worth keeping and live exactly as I please. The first step of my revenge is the man who mercilessly abandoned me. The beginning of my tragedy was that incident. Yulia started walking toward the magnificent mansion. Knock echoed, and a man's voice came from within. Come in, Vieira. Yulia's thoughts churned. After I had an affair with my half-brother, I went to see my fiancé, the man who pushed me into the abyss. Yulia pushed the door open. Vieira had his back to her. He turned around slowly. Yulia, Vieira's voice was flat. You were ill. Are you feeling better? Yulia remained silent. She stared at him intently. He was outwardly polite, but in his tone and expression, you couldn't find a single trace of genuine concern. If it were the me from the past, I would have thought that he was just a kind man who was bad with words. Because he made a special trip to visit me, but now I understand. He was just looking for any excuse to come back. It was all just to see Lyrica one more time. The truth is, I noticed it long ago. I just deliberately pretended not to know. Yulia's gaze fell on the pocket of his chest. That handkerchief. In my past life, he always carried it with him. The handkerchief was embroidered with the crest of the Duke of Primrose's family, not the Count of Vieira's. Giving and receiving a handkerchief is usually something lovers do. Yulia's fingers tightened, but that handkerchief wasn't a gift from me. He had even rejected mine. In her memory, Yulia shyly held out a handkerchief. Vieira, I embroidered this myself. I wanted to give it to you as an engagement gift. Vieira coldly pushed it away. I appreciate the thought, but we aren't married yet. This is a bit forward. Yulia embarrassedly pulled her hand back. Ah, I'm sorry. I've made things awkward for you. You rejected the handkerchief I offered so decisively. Vieira's voice cut through her thoughts. You must have been terribly hurt. You're unusually quiet today. Yulia lifted her head. Her eyes were calm. Yes, I'm fine now. The me I am now. Must be embarrassing, right? That girl who could only smile foolishly. The me who never knew what to do. She doesn't exist anymore. Yulia looked him straight in the eye. Vieira, I know you're in love with Lyrica. Vieira flinched violently. What? He stammered defensively. What are you talking about? I think you've misunderstood. Yulia replied calmly. Yes. Then I should probably apologize first, right? It's not like I was able to hide it completely anyway. Yulia's tone was flat. No, there's no need for excuses. I'm not that foolish. Vieira's hand shot out and grabbed her arm. Yulia, he pleaded urgently, if you're going to be angry, direct it at me. But if you dare lay a hand on Lyrica, I won't. Yulia let out a soft laugh. What a romance for the ages. No matter how you roar, I won't be afraid. I've already died once. A threat like this is nothing to me. Yulia gave a radiant smile. Don't misunderstand. I just want to say that I support your love. Vieira froze for a moment. What are you planning this time? Yulia turned to look out the window. I was sick for a long time this time. While I was hovering between life and death, I started to think. Was I too selfish in the past, Yulia? Thank you for tolerating my immaturity all this time. It's common for families to change engagement partners. But the problem is, my father probably won't agree. A small smile played on Yulia's lips. I have a good idea. She thought to herself, a mysterious smile playing on her lips. Just you wait. I'm going to take your life. And drag it straight through the mud. Night fell. The Duke's mansion stood silently in the twilight as a carriage entered the courtyard. The sound of its wheels echoed on the stone path as the main doors slowly opened, announcing the arrival of Miss Julia Primrose of the House of Primrose. A pair of blue high heels stepped into the grand hall, their clicks sharp and clear. Miss Julia has arrived. She's always late. As if she's the main character. Exactly. Do you think she's trying to ruin Miss Lylyrica's birthday party? Julia's gaze cut through the crowd. Lylyrica. Hearing her name, Lylyrica turned around. Her smile was radiant. Ah, sister. Her smile froze in an instant, her eyes filled with nothing but terror. Julia, dressed in a blue gown, smiled elegantly. I'm sorry I'm late. She looked at Lylyrica's terrified expression, and said softly, that's right. You must be very confused. You explicitly told me through your maid that the dress code was red, and that everyone would be dressed extravagantly. But the star of the birthday party was supposed to wear pink. I was supposed to end up as the vicious older sister who deliberately broke the dress code out of jealousy. But what about now? The one who was supposed to be your laughingstock showed up in blue. A sharp edge was hidden in Julia's smile. But Lylyrica, what I have in store for you today doesn't stop here. I've prepared a very big birthday present for you. A gasp erupted from the crowd. Oh my god, isn't that young Master Vieira? That's right, he's Miss Julia's fiancé. Lylyrica spun around abruptly. However, her pupils constricted in shock. Why is it him? Vieira, dressed in a magnificent pink suit, was walking slowly toward them. Why would he be wearing the same color as Miss Lylyrica? The guests' murmurs rose and fell. Vieira called out softly, Lylyrica. Lylyrica couldn't believe her eyes. Her breath hitched. She stared at the pink suit he was wearing. You're wearing pink? Lylyrica's voice trembled. Young Master Vieira, your clothes. I didn't tell anyone the color of my gown. How did you? The guests began to whisper amongst themselves again. His fiancée is Miss Julia. Why is he wearing a matching outfit with Miss Lylyrica? Exactly, it's like they planned it. They look just like a couple in love. No, if this goes on, everyone will get the wrong idea. Lylyrica forced a smile. I think you must have misunderstood the dress code. Vieira interrupted her. Lylyrica, this wasn't a mistake. Vieira's gaze was gentle yet firm. After seeing the words on the handkerchief you gave me, I could no longer bear it. I couldn't bear people thinking Miss Julia was the one who sent it. Lylyrica's mind was in turmoil. Why would you suddenly say that in front of so many people? Vieira took a deep breath. I also summoned a great deal of courage, but Lyrica, I couldn't hide my feelings any longer, so he got down on one knee and held out his hand to her. Please, marry me. A cold smile played on Yulia's lips. My former fiancé, whom I was once so infatuated with, is now a lovely puppet in my hands. The result is truly magnificent. That damn bastard. Duke Primrose slammed his fist on the table. There has to be a limit, even if you intend to ignore the Primrose family. That shameless fool, making our family a laughingstock. How dare that upstart try to climb so high? My mother gently squeezed Yulia's shoulder. Daughter, are you alright? Yulia's lips curved upwards. It's a little different than I expected, but isn't the outcome wonderful? Just like in my previous life, Lyrica settled everything with just a few words. Yulia recalled how she had instigated Vieira. Young master, you know that the Duke cares a great deal about what others think. If people start saying that they look good together, then it will be difficult for the Duke to oppose a done deal. This is your last chance to win Lyrica over. Vieira's inner monologue surfaced. My last chance. That's right. If I don't marry her this time, I might never see Lyrica again. This woman, is there anything more important to her than Lyrica? For Lyrica's sake, I have to be a real man, even if it's just this once. Please, marry me. Lyrica smiled. Lyrica only told me the color of her dress. I never thought he would actually propose. Because of that, Lyrica was swept up in the rumors. How could this have happened? And of all places, at the Primrose Ducal Estate. Something like this. In the end, I've still managed to stain it. The reputation of the House of Primrose, which my father so despises. Well then, I suppose it's my turn to make an entrance. I'm alright, father. Lyrica's love is what's most important. I just need to step aside. Duke Primrose roared. Yes, love is completely unimportant. In all my life, I have never seen anyone bring such utter disgrace to this ducal house. Yulia lowered her eyes, as tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry, father. It seems my own shortcomings have brought shame upon our family. The Duchess pulled her into an embrace. Oh, my dear Yulia. Don't say such things. Yulia leaned on her shoulder. Her voice choked with sobs. I just want Lyrica and Vieira to be happy. He only had a change of heart because I wasn't good enough. A knock came from the door. Lyrica and Jixin walked into the room. Father, we've arrived. The Duke of Primrose roared. I summoned you. Why are you only showing up now? Jixin bowed his head. It is true that the family's honor has been damaged. I'm sorry, father, but please, allow me. Lyrica feels terrible about this as well. It's true that she gave him her handkerchief. But there is nothing between them. Therefore, Yulia's engagement should continue. Yulia saw right through Lyrica's pattern. She always makes others speak for her. The words she herself found so hard to say. So from now on, Duke Primrose slammed his hand on his thigh. Jixin, are you out of your mind? As Jixin faltered, Duke Primrose was beside himself with rage. After this kind of humiliation, you still want to uphold the engagement? It must be called off immediately. How dare a mere Viscount spout such nonsense? Lyrica tried to explain. Father. Jixin swallowed nervously as Duke Primrose turned to Lyrica. First, you, Lyrica. Why on earth would you give a handkerchief to your sister's fiancé? And cause this sort of trouble? Say something, at least. Julia watched with cold eyes. Now, Lyrica, what are you going to do now? Lyrica's voice trembled. Father, it's because sister isn't good at embroidery. That's why he asked me for one. I swear I had no other intentions. She clasped her hands together tightly, tears welling up in her eyes. I don't know why Viscount Vieira misunderstood, but I am truly sorry for the chaos I've caused. Julia sneered inwardly. Oh, so now the excuses begin. Duke Primrose clutched his head. Even if he asked you for it, a smart girl like you. How could you do something so foolish? Lyrica sobbed softly. I'm truly sorry, father. After all, no matter how excellent the ducal family's education is, it can't change my origins, can it? There she goes again, playing that trump card. You don't have to be like that. This is Julia's fault. Alright then, it's my turn to counterattack. That's right, Lyrica, you don't need to be like that. The Duchess said gently, you are already a member of the ducal family. This has nothing to do with your origins. Mother, a strange glint flashed in Lyrica's eyes. Thank you, Mother. However, the Duchess looked directly at Lyrica. But why were the two of you wearing the same color clothes? That requires a much fuller explanation. That's the very point I was going to make. And Mother, this is the first time I've ever seen you speak so calmly. Lyrica responded. I don't know. Perhaps it's just a coincidence, Lyrica said with an awkward laugh. Her hands twisted together unconsciously. But all the other guests were wearing blue. In Julia's memory, that banquet was a sea of blue. Except for the two of you, who were dressed in pale pink. It's hard to believe that's just a coincidence. Julia's tone softened. Lyrica, just as Mother said, you don't have to hide anymore. I understand everything now. She gave a small smile. Lyrica, experience for yourself the feeling you've always forced on others. How does it feel? Lyrica was thrown into a panic. Sister, I really don't know anything. Dixon clenched his fists abruptly. It's over. It's really over. The person in the most pain right now. I suspect it's Lyrica. Maybe there's something going on that we don't know about. Dixon glared at her. Please, don't just because Julia is your biological daughter. Take her side. The Duchess looked at him in disbelief. What? What did you say? How could you say something like that? Julia's gaze was ice cold. When father was listening to Lyrica face to face. You didn't say a single word. How dare you mock Mother now? Is that what you think of the woman who raised Lyrica? The girl father brought back from the outside? The woman who treated her as her own. A cold smirk appeared on Julia's lips. Father, I don't think there's any point in us continuing to argue like this. Instead of wasting our breath, how about we do this? Julia suggested calmly. How about we summon young Master Vieira here? Duke Primrose fell into a long silence, his brow furrowed. He seemed to be weighing his options. Finally, he made his decision. We will do as Julia says. Dixon shouted in a panic. But father, Lyrica's current condition. Duke Primrose slammed his fist on the table. Get a grip. This is not the time to be concerned about Lyrica's condition. How can the heir to the dukedom be so foolish? Lyrica spoke timidly. Brother. Duke Primrose leaned back in his chair, his eyes cold as ice. Say no more. I will bring that man here. And make him take full responsibility for this. Vieira bowed in apology. I deeply apologize for the disturbance I have caused. I know that I am merely the son of a count and unworthy of your attention. But, Vieira turned to Lyrica. His expression was earnest. My feelings for Miss Lyrica are sincere. Please, allow me to have your blessing. What on earth is this idiot talking about? Lyrica turned to face Duke Primrose. Father, this is just young Master Vieira's one-sided. Lyrica's voice trembled. If I have caused you to misunderstand, I am very sorry. It's just that, since young Master Vieira is my sister's fiancé, I was just trying to be kind to him. I have no feelings for Vieira whatsoever. Vieira's face turned deathly pale. That's absolute nonsense. Julia watched it all unfold with cold eyes. Just as I thought. She cuts ties so quickly. Lyrica's body trembled. This is the first time I've seen her so unsettled. She's always the one making trouble for others. Never falling into her own traps. Julia's gaze sharpened. Lyrica, what about that handkerchief? Lyrica flinched violently. She hurriedly tried to explain. I know what you're thinking about that handkerchief. It was because young Master Vieira asked me for 3 of them. His sister's embroidery skills are poor. Vieira cut her off. When you gave me that handkerchief, I remember your every word perfectly. Vieira recalled what Lyrica had said. Why, you told me you loved me, but that we couldn't be together because of Julia. You said that even though it was heartbreaking, you would cherish this feeling forever. He demanded, his voice filled with agitation. You clearly said those words. Lyrica's world was collapsing. What on earth is happening? Lyrica, what is this? She completely broke down. What am I? How could I? Lyrica turned to Duke Primrose. She cried out, trying to explain. He's too agitated. He's spouting nonsense. It's all lies. Father, I never said those things. Please, believe me. Julia's lips curled into a slight smile. I just tossed out the bait, and it's already caused such a commotion. Vieira turned to Lyrica. Lyrica, are you afraid of Julia? Don't worry. Julia has already given us her blessing. Lyrica covered her face with her hands. Her body shuddered violently. Julia? What? Through the gaps in her fingers, she saw Lord Vieira. What do you mean by bringing up Julia? The Duchess's expression turned cold. Her words were like daggers of ice, piercing Vieira. Regardless of what happened between you and Lyrica, Shouldn't you be apologizing to Julia first? Not only did you not apologize, but you're using Julia as a shield for your lies. How utterly shameless. Vieira desperately tried to explain. Duchess, this is a misunderstanding. I wasn't trying to use Miss Julia. Duke Primrose's voice was bone-chillingly cold. Enough. His eyes were dark. Say one more word. I dare you. Not only did you deceive Lyrica with your lies, but now you dare to lie about Julia? Lyrica took a step forward. Lord Vieira, your actions are a double insult to both me and my sister. This can't be, Vieira muttered to himself. Vieira looked hopeless. Everyone had completely misunderstood. Lyrica clearly said she loved me. The kind Lyrica wouldn't lie. His gaze pierced through the crowd, locking onto a single figure. Julia? Julia Primrose. It was you, wasn't it? Julia stood in the distance, her expression indifferent, as if she had long anticipated this moment. Vieira's fists clenched. Are you threatening Lyrica? Julia's expression was serene. Threatening her? He's digging himself into a deeper hole. Vieira roared. If that's not it, then why would Lyrica reject me? You pretended to bless us while plotting behind our backs. You've always been a wicked woman. Julia remained silent. She let his anger burn, her face betraying not a single ripple of emotion. I've always been a wicked woman? A hint of self-mockery flashed in Julia's eyes. Duke Primrose could no longer stand it. He abruptly threw his arm out in front of Julia. I can't listen to this anymore. A man like you will never have Julia or Lyrica. I am breaking this engagement. I will lodge a formal protest with the Count's family. Jixon looked at that twisted face. Only one thought remained in his mind. What a pathetic fool. The Duchess was livid. What do you think you're all doing? Get that bastard out of here. The Duchess patted Julia's back, comforting her. I never imagined Viscount Vieira was this kind of person. Not only did he cause a huge scene, but he insulted you like that. The Duchess hugged Julia, her voice filled with apology. I'm so sorry, Julia, for arranging your marriage to a man like that. Julia gently hugged her back. I never expected him to be like this either. But it's all right. After all, I was the one who insisted on getting engaged. Yes, I had no idea. He's not only obsessed with Lyrica, but he's also a despicable and cruel man. After I ran away, he tried to drag me back to father. A bitter smile crossed Julia's face. At least, I've learned a life lesson. The Duchess let her go. I will handle the annulment. I'll discuss it with your father. You don't have to worry. Julia took her mother's hand. Mother, she sat down, gazing at her mother's beautiful yet weary face. I have something I want to tell you, Mother. Soon, you're going to die. The words swirled in her throat, but she couldn't bring herself to say them. Instead, she just leaned forward against her mother, trembling silently. In the end, she chose to confess a different, deeper emotion. Mother, from now on, please leave everything to me. Please just focus on yourself. Don't worry about our family or household matters anymore. Julia's voice was tinged with desperation. Your health isn't good. I'm worried that if you keep pushing yourself like this, something terrible will happen. Duchess stroked Julia's cheek. It's so sweet of you to worry. Actually, I've been thinking a lot today. I thought that keeping silent was what was best for you. But I was wrong. For your sake, I'm going to attend more social events to solidify your position. That way, no one will be able to harm my daughter. Tears streamed down Julia's face. Asterisk in my previous life, 1 month before my 20th birthday. Mother passed away. A scream shattered the silence. My lady, someone, call a doctor. The cause of her death was lead poisoning. Because technology in this world was still primitive, lead was still used in cosmetics, which led to poisoning. It was a common cause of death among aristocratic women. But my mother was frail. She didn't like to go out and almost never wore makeup. Therefore, her risk of being poisoned was far lower than other noblewomen. And yet, my mother. A curtain of rain shrouded the cemetery. The mourners were dressed in black, their expressions solemn. Julia stood among them, her face devoid of emotion as she stared at the cold gravestone. She was the first among the noble ladies her age to die of poisoning. Julia rushed to catch up with her father. Father, please listen. This doesn't make sense. Mother rarely wore makeup. For her to suddenly start doing so is just too strange. The Duke whirled around abruptly. Model. Gritting his teeth, he opened his mouth. He roared, she's just trying to save face. To smear that poisonous powder on it is just asking for death. What's the use of making a scene now? The Duke said, wiping his hands. A cold sneer played on his lips. Either way, this mother and daughter. Yulia walked alone down the empty hallway, her footsteps echoing. Before and after my rebirth, my mother was the only one who ever tried to protect me. And now, the only one who can protect mother is me. In this life, I will not lose my mother again. For the sake of our happiness, I will do everything in my power. After that commotion, Lyrica never appeared before me again. My brother, Jixon, also seemed to have calmed down, no longer provoking me for no reason like before. Thanks to them, I was able to spend my days peacefully with my mother. I looked around at my leisure. The courtyard was filled with sunlight. Yulia and her mother sat across from each other, drinking tea. The atmosphere was calm and peaceful. Yulia lifted her teacup. Mother, There's a ceremony in a few days. Would you like to go with me? Her mother's eyes smiled. Oh, that sounds lovely. Let's go together. Yulia's eyes instantly brightened. Really? But the longer this happiness lasted, the more anxious I became. Because I knew that my mother's death was not far off. If my mother's death was a conspiracy, then Lyrica was most likely the culprit. Yulia sighed softly, but mere suspicion isn't enough. I'll just be treated like a lunatic again. It's useless. I have to find a way to stop it first. But I have no one to help me. It's so disheartening. Her mother watched her with a gentle gaze. Yulia, what's troubling you? Yulia snapped back to reality, hastily shaking her head. It's nothing. Before she could finish speaking, her mother suddenly began to cough violently, covering her mouth with a handkerchief. Her body trembled uncontrollably. The color drained from Yulia's face. Mother, are you all right? She was coughing so violently, it almost looked like she was coughing up blood. Wait, in my previous life, after mother passed away, I checked the dinnerware she used. There was nothing wrong with any of it. But what if someone tampered with the food during preparation? Mother, after we finish our tea, I must go see the butler. Yulia stood up. She left the tea room, her steps firm with resolve. She knocked on a door. You were looking for me? The butler came from a distinguished family that had served the Primrose family for generations. He had a strong sense of pride and was deeply trusted by the other servants. He was undoubtedly a good man, but isn't his attitude towards me a little too disrespectful? Yulia, he probably thinks I went to the Primrose estate. Yulia looked the butler straight in the eye. You, come with me to the kitchen. The butler froze for a moment. The kitchen? You mean, the kitchen? He quickly composed himself. My apologies. May I ask what this is about? Was there something wrong with your meal? If the kitchen staff needs to be disciplined, just say the word. Yulia shook her head. It's not that. I've suddenly decided to go somewhere I don't normally visit. As the head of staff, you must be confused. But if I simply wanted to go to the kitchen, I would have gone on my own by now. There's a reason I'm asking you to come with me. Yulia's voice was calm. For now, just cooperate. You can figure it out later. The butler instantly understood. I overstepped. He bowed deeply. My deepest apologies, my lady. The butler turned to lead the way. Yulia followed close behind, and the Duchess came along as well. There was only one reason to bring the butler to the kitchen. It was because my standing among the servants wasn't high enough yet. Right now, I needed to borrow the trust and influence he commanded. The butler reached for the kitchen door. My lady, before you go in, please allow me to announce you. Yulia pushed the door open and walked straight inside. The butler gasped, my lady. The bustling activity in the kitchen instantly froze. The chefs and servants cried out in shock, Lady Yulia. The butler hurried in behind her, announcing in a loud voice. Everyone, pay your respects to Lady Yulia at once. The head chef approached timidly. My lady. Yulia's gaze swept across the room. I know you're all very busy. I apologize for the interruption, but all of you, stop what you're doing. Immediately, hands away from the cookware. What? Yulia's voice echoed through the kitchen. Do not take your eyes off me. I need to confirm something. Her gaze passed over every single person in the room. And all of you are going to be my witnesses. Do you think she's going to end up dead, just like her mother? Two maids whispered in the hallway. She's been locked in her room for 5 days. She's not even eating. I know, right? If she actually dies, we'll get dragged down with her. Yulia was in her study, the scratching of her quill on paper filling the silence. What in the world did she do all day, locked away in her room? This was after I lost my mother. I had to uncover the truth of her death. I would find the person behind it, no matter the cost. Yulia gripped her quill, her knuckles turning white. This was something I wouldn't have even dared to imagine in my first life. Her gaze slowly lifted, sweeping across the fearful people in the kitchen. It finally landed on the stove, where a bowl of sugar was placed. The sugar my mother always consumed before she died. If there's a problem with the sugar, then that means the culprit is among you. It won't. Yulia's memories flashed back. Her mother's cold body, the engravings on the headstone. I won't let something like that happen again. Yulia's gaze returned to the present. All the kitchen servants are here now, the head chef answered, confused. Yes, milady, but what is all this? If you need anything, please just give us the order. Yulia cut in coldly, that won't be necessary. This is something I must do myself. Yulia clutched 2 small sachets, her eyes filled with resolve. To help me is to bear witness for me. Miss Yulia, the butler was taken aback by her aura. He never knew the young miss had such an imposing side. But he was still puzzled. What is that flower for? Yulia glided towards the stove. The sharp clicks of her high heels echoed on the floor. She leaned over, staring at the boiling syrup in the pot. If my research and deductions are correct, then that reaction is bound to happen. Yulia dropped the flour into the syrup. The servants gasped. Oh my god, there really was something in the madam's food. No one make a sound. Just watch quietly. The head chef answered with a trembling voice. That flower is called a glucose. It's a common wildflower, very resilient. Its color is plain, and it's rarely used in medicine. But once it combines with it will release a smoke with a peculiar smell. And the flour itself will dissolve completely. Thick smoke billowed from the pot. A pungent odor filled the air. What's going on with this smoke? And this smell? The syrup instantly turned as black as ink. The glucose flour vanished, leaving only an ominous black liquid. Got you, culprit. Yulia slowly turned around, her icy gaze sweeping across the servants. This looks like the syrup that was used in my mother's desserts. Her voice wasn't loud, but every word carried immense weight. The person responsible for making this. A maid with pink hair raised a trembling hand. It was me. Yulia whipped around. Her gaze was like a sharp sword piercing into her. How long have you been doing this? That girl. She's one of Lyrica's personal maids. The maid struggled to remain calm. I entered this house about 6 months ago. I've been in charge of this ever since. Is there a problem? Yulia turned to the butler. Butler, you saw all of that, didn't you? The butler bowed deeply. Yes, Lady Yulia. Fury blazed in Yulia's eyes, her voice as cold as ice. Call the guards. Seize this maid. She is the one who attempted to murder the Duchess. Maid screamed in terror. Murder? My lady, what are you talking about? This is a rather common flower that causes an adverse reaction upon contact. The maid's body went rigid. So, that means... Precisely, Yulia confirmed coldly. Lady Yulia, the maid's face was deathly pale. There must be some misunderstanding. The butler was seething with rage. He pointed sharply at the maid. Do you understand the situation you are in? The maid was scared out of her wits. Lady Yulia, I swear I'm innocent. The truth was. Lekka's voice echoed in the maid's mind. You're the new kitchen maid, right? Are you getting used to the work? Have you run into any trouble? It's all right. If you need anything, just let me know. The maid recalled Lekka's gentle smile. Ah, Lady Lekka, she was just as beautiful and kind as the rumors said. Lekka smiled. Because we're around the same age. I've been worried about you. You're in charge of desserts, right? Is there anything inconvenient about your work? The maid hesitated for a moment. Using such a big, heavy pot to make syrup is a bit difficult. But I'm new here, so I can't really complain about the equipment. Lekka gently cut her off. Don't worry about that. She turned and brought over a small pot. Actually, I noticed it while you were working. Here, use this one from now on. Isn't it much smaller? The maid was moved to tears. Thank you so much, Lady Lekka. To think she would care about a new maid like me. How can someone so kind exist in this world? In the memory, Lekka smiled, but behind that smile was a hint of darkness. You're welcome. I just wanted to make your work a little easier. The maid snapped back to reality, shaking her head frantically. I never meant to harm the Duchess. Lady Lekka probably didn't know. Or maybe it was just an oversight. I'm sure there's been some kind of misunderstanding. An oversight? Yulia's gaze was ice cold. What excuse can justify an act that nearly killed someone? My mother loves this dessert. She has it every day. The menu changes, but this dessert is always on it. This makes her easier to poison than with a simple meal. Therefore, you murdered her. Yulia took a deep breath. She issued the command, bring Lekka here. The butler roared at the guards. Didn't you hear Lady Yulia? Go, at once. The knight immediately accepted the order. Yes, I'll go right away. But, Lylyrica, she has never been an easy person to deal with. Indeed. I was the one who gave it to her, Lylyrica's voice suddenly said. Laced with a perfect touch of panic. I just saw how hard she was always working. And I felt so sorry for her. The butler gasped. Miss Lylyrica, if you don't mind, could you tell me where that pan came from? Lylyrica cleared her throat, turning to face them. It's from a street I used to visit often as a child. I bought it when I went back there recently. The merchant said it was beautiful and durable. I had absolutely no idea it was made of lead. Julia pressed her. Which street? Do you remember what the merchant looked like? Lylyrica's eyes darted away. I don't really remember. Julia's voice boomed through the room. Are you telling me you bought a pan on a street you can't recall? And then gave it directly to the maid? The very maid who makes desserts specifically for our mother? Lylyrica's face went deathly pale. You can't be thinking something so awful, can you? She pleaded desperately. You know as well as I do. Mother, my sister, and I all eat this dessert. If I knew it was dangerous, how could I possibly have eaten it myself? Lylyrica began to sob. I'm being framed. Julia watched her coldly. A slippery little snake, trying to squirm her way out of it again. I remember it so clearly. This is exactly what you do. Julia recalled a scene from the past. At the dinner table, Lylyrica dabbed her lips with a handkerchief. I'm not feeling very well. I'll be skipping dessert for a while. The Duchess looked concerned. Should I call a doctor? You haven't touched dessert in 6 months. You, who were once obsessed with sweets. You deliberately poisoned Mother and me. Mother is older, so she was harmed the most. But if I had kept eating it, consequences would have been unthinkable. Julia's gaze was cold and calm. I don't know where that pan came from, but using unapproved kitchenware is a mistake. You admit to that, don't you? Lylyrica shuddered. Julia's eyes locked onto her. Someone must take responsibility for this. And the person usually held responsible is... The maid turned to Lylyrica. Miss Lilirica, you were clearly the one who wanted this to be used. You just naively believed her. Lilirica erupted with fury. You crazy? When did I ever say to use it to make desserts for mother? She turned to the crowd, her voice shrill. I clearly said it was for decoration. Are you trying to say I'm lying? The poor, wronged thing. In order to save herself, you wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice your own pawn. In my past life, she would have stopped at nothing for you. The maid looked on in terror. Ah, milady, what is happening here? Julia's gaze swept over the crowd. I see, thank goodness. Lilirica is even more foolish than I imagined. In Julia's red eyes, the flames of revenge flickered. Now, I can get my revenge on you, even more thoroughly. In the end, that maid was blamed for the entire incident. She was punished for using the kitchen utensils without permission, and that was the end of it. As Anne was dragged away by the guards, she cried out desperately. My lady, I've been framed. The onlookers whispered, I'm afraid the punishment will be severe this time. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Lady Lilirica, a maid backed away in fear. Oh my god. That's fatal for the Duchess. The main doors burst open. The doctor and a few others rushed in. Lilirica ran towards her mother, who had collapsed. Mother, the butler followed anxiously as well. Why would that maid do such a thing? Didn't she consider the consequences? This incident planted a seed of unease in the hearts of Lilirica's staff. It really is better to not get involved with people from high society. Lilirica clutched her head. How did she know? That woman, Julia. How in the world did she find out? Wait a minute, could it be? Someone on my side has defected to Julia. Once the seed of suspicion was planted, Lilirica began to suspect every single one of her servants. In a bright, sunny courtyard, Julia and the Duchess sat across from each other, enjoying a moment of tranquility. The Duchess looked at her gratefully. Julia, thank you. I wouldn't have survived if it weren't for you. Julia looked at her haggard face, noticing she had gotten much thinner. Mother, we can't let our guard down just yet. We don't know how much poison has built up in your system. From now on, you should avoid using any leaded products. The Duchess nodded in agreement. That's probably for the best. Julia gave a small smile. Actually, I've prepared something for you. The Duchess looked at her, puzzled, as Julia pushed a small, dark blue, round box across the table. This is a calendula moisturizing cream I made myself. The Duchess gazed at the box. A moisturizing cream, made from flowers? Julia explained. Yes. Your skin tends to be dry. If you focus on moisturizing it, you won't need to use face powder anymore. The Duchess raised a question. But don't those flowers only bloom in a specific season? Julia smiled slightly. I had a little help from my ability. The Duchess's eyes widened in realization. An ability? According to the setting of the original story, the children of the Primrose family all have special abilities. This power is known as a blessing. Jixon received the blessing of the sword, making his blade shine with a blue light. Lilirica had yet to fully awaken her blessing of healing, her hands clasped in prayer for its power to descend. And as for Julia, she received the blessing of growth. Life blossoms in her hands. The Duchess gasped softly. That's simply unbelievable. Julia's hands were trembling on the table. My ability has no effect on people or animals. All I can do is grow plants. But there had to be more to it. After some research, Julia finally understood the truth of her abilities. I can, in any environment, rapidly grow plants, and the plants I cultivate contain a special power. In my past life, I was never able to use this ability, right up until my death. But in this life, I want to find its true purpose. That's when I thought of cosmetics. My hobby of making natural cosmetics came in handy. Julia suggested with a smile. Would you like to try it now? The Duchess was a little hesitant. Alright, she carefully dabbed a small amount and applied it to the back of her hand. Oh my goodness, it's so soft and moisturizing. Julia was overjoyed. Perfect. It seems there's no allergic reaction. Julia then offered, let me help you apply it. She took the Duchess's hand. With a gentle touch, she spread the cream. The Duchess watched quietly, without a word. She gazed at Julia with a complex expression. Julia, you've really done so much for me behind the scenes. The Duchess suddenly stood up and hugged Julia tightly. Julia froze in place. The Duchess's hand gently patted her back. You've been through so much. My daughter. Julia hugged the Duchess back tightly. Tears streamed silently down her face. Meanwhile, in front of the magnificent imperial palace, a servant bowed and reported. Your Highness, the preparations for your departure are complete. Enoch stood before the door, his expression cold. Thank you. The voice of Prince Enoch Piast held not a trace of warmth. I'll be leaving shortly. The banquet hall was buzzing with chatter. A noblewoman approached. It's been so long. You look even more beautiful than before. Another lady chimed in, as expected of the Duchess of Primrose. A gasp went through the crowd. Your skin has become so smooth. The Duchess nodded elegantly. Thank you. I hope you are all well. A young lady asked curiously. Could you tell us what you've been using? The Duchess answered, feigning nonchalance. I haven't used anything special. It's just a face cream. A noblewoman exclaimed. What? It can make your skin so radiant? Another woman eagerly leaned in. Your Grace, can you tell us what face cream you're using? The Duchess gave a mysterious smile. The creator of this cream has asked me to keep it a secret for now. I will make a formal announcement later. Yulia watched from a distance, smiling to herself. You're amazing, Mother. Your decision to solidify your social standing to protect me. It worked. Yulia's gaze swept across the crowd. Everyone was intentionally avoiding her. The rumors about Yulia and Liricardo instead directed all the attention to the Duchess. Wow, really? You've already promised. How did you come to know such a talented person? Now that she was well connected, the Duchess was surrounded by noblewomen. Julia watched the scene, but how long had she been trapped in this situation? However, her mother becoming so popular also brought new troubles. Julia walked beside the Duchess. Mother, you seem to have been very busy these days. Ever since that day, invitations have been pouring in from all over. The Duchess walked with a light step. I received several invitations just today, but I decided to go out with my daughter, so I turned them all down. A smile lit up Julia's eyes. Really? I'm so glad to see you've recovered so well recently, Mother. The Duchess suddenly stopped in her tracks. Oh, right. She turned around and suggested with a smile. Julia, since we're out, let's stop by the dress shop. The Duchess's hand rested on the shop's doorknob. I want to have a beautiful dress made for my daughter. Julia smiled faintly. That sounds wonderful. The bell on the shop door jingled softly, and the clerks immediately came to greet them. Duchess Premies, Miss Julia. Welcome. The Duchess gave a slight nod. I apologize for not giving any notice. I'd like to order a formal dress for my daughter. The three clerks responded with a smile. Oh, the dress you ordered before is ready now. Since you're here, why don't you try it on? A clerk said in a gentle voice. Why don't you look at some samples first, and I'll bring you a cup of hot tea. Of course. A clerk brought over a steaming cup of black tea. Julia held the teacup with both hands and took a small sip. This long-awaited peace. I wish quiet days like this could last forever. Suddenly, the bell on the door rang, its sharp jingle shattering the tranquility. A man's voice rang out. Well, it looks like tonight is going to be interesting. Julia whipped her head around. That voice. Marcel Vieira. Vieira wore a flippant smile. What a coincidence. To think we'd meet again in a place like this. Julia looked at him coldly. What are you doing here? Have you been following me? And that smell of alcohol. He's been drinking at this hour? Vieira continued. Lately, all I hear in high society is news about you and your mother. I feel like I'm being roasted over a fire. Vieira's face twisted in anger. He hissed through his teeth. It seems you and your mother are having a wonderful time. He suddenly lunged forward. He grabbed Julia's wrist. It's all because of your scheming. That's why Lyrica is avoiding me. What should we do? How can he treat the young lady like that? Julia coldly shook his hand off. Stop it, Lord Vieira. Why are you blaming me for what happened between you two? Vieira repeated in disbelief. Blame you? And you think I don't know this is all your fault? How could you do that to poor, innocent Lyrica? Julia let out a cold, contemptuous laugh. How ridiculous. She looked Vieira straight in the eye. Lyrica lost interest in you. Precisely because you have no charm. So why are you taking it out on me? Vieira's face instantly flushed red. He gritted his teeth. What did you just say? He asked, enunciating every word. What? Julia's body jolted. She let out a short cry of pain. Vieira's hand clamped down on her like an iron vice. This bastard, he's going to crush my wrist. Julia endured the searing pain. How pathetic. To think I used to like someone like this, so violent and unreasonable. I have to get help from the knights outside. Julia shouted in a panic. What are you all doing? Go get someone. He's drunk. He's lost his mind. A store clerk immediately replied. Why yes. Go get help, quickly. She turned to head for the door, but before she could take a step, a hand shot out and grabbed Vieira's wrist, stopping him. Stop it. Vieira turned his head. What? It was Enoch. I didn't want to get involved in a personal matter, but I simply couldn't stand by and watch. Julia and Vieira looked over at the same time. The newcomer was none other than the Crown Prince. He spoke calmly. Your Highness, the Crown Prince. Crown Prince Enoch's gaze was icy. To see you lash out at others because your advances were rejected. Especially venting that anger on your former fiancée, Miss Julia Primrose? Enoch's words cut like shards of ice. It seems that whether as a nobleman or a knight, you are a failure. Julia stared at him, stunned. Why is the Crown Prince here? He helped me again. Fragments of memory flashed back. Before my rebirth, something similar had happened. The whispers at the banquet came in like a tide. Did you see Lord Vieira dancing with her? She chased him for so long, and still couldn't capture his heart. If it weren't for her family's ducal background, I doubt they would have even been engaged. Honestly, if it were me, I would have rejected that lady too. Her face is passable, but her personality is just too strange, isn't it? Other than her status as a duke's daughter, she's completely useless. If only he were dancing with Miss Lyrica instead. Wouldn't that be so much better? Yulia stood alone in the shadows. Recalling those words, wouldn't that be so much better? Even though those words were rude and crossed a line, I couldn't argue back. Because, even I myself felt that they were right. Even if I demanded an apology right then and there, it wouldn't be sincere. And I'd just be seen as a troublemaker who ruined the party's atmosphere. Quietly leaving the scene seemed like the smartest thing to do. Yulia turned to leave, but then, she stopped abruptly. Marcel Vieira, the man who invited his fiancée's sister to dance instead of his own fiancée. He's the one who should be blamed, isn't he? Don't you think there's something wrong with this? Yulia jolted violently. After that, the Crown Prince and I never crossed paths again. But those words, they haunted my mind. Until the end of my short life. Until just before I was reborn. Enoch continued, not only did you make an unreasonable demand, but you also laid a hand on a defenseless lady. His eyes were filled with scorn. As a man myself, I am utterly ashamed of you. Vieira's face went white as he scrambled to explain. And no, Your Highness. It's a misunderstanding. This woman used me. Yulia stared at him in disbelief. Enoch cut him off coldly. So, you mean to say, that Miss Yulia Primrose threatened you into pursuing her own sister? And no, that's not it. I was deceived. You were deceived? You claim you didn't know she was involved with her own sister. And you still went through with the engagement. Is that it, Miss Yulia Primrose? Yulia's heart leapt. His calm, steady tone clearly conveyed his belief in her. The way he defended me, it was exactly the same as in my past life. Yulia, the Duchess cried out. Are you all right? Heavens, your wrist. What have you done? Vieira suddenly came to his senses. Oh, right. I have an appointment with the Count this afternoon. I completely forgot. He spun around in a panic. Your Highness, I'll be taking my leave. Yulia watched Vieira's back as he fled. He ran off without even an apology. A complete and utter coward. That man. Enoch's voice rang out. Miss Primrose, pay no mind to such a vile person. He changed his tone. More importantly, may I see your wrist? Enoch gently took Yulia's wrist in his hand. He examined it carefully. Fortunately, the bone seems fine. But the skin on her wrist was already a dark purple bruise. Yulia pulled her hand back. It's nothing. It'll be better in a little while. Enoch watched her in silence. The Duchess rose to her feet to thank him. Your Highness, thank you for helping my daughter. Enoch smiled, waving his hand. Please, think nothing of it, Duchess Primrose. Enoch chuckled lightly. I was simply acting on an invitation from Princess Vivian. I was stopping by the tailor's and never expected to encounter such a scene. The Duchess turned to him. Speaking of the princess, I haven't seen her in a long time. I hear she hasn't been feeling well lately. She's all right. Enoch lifted his teacup. Same as always. The Duchess gave a warm smile. She is still young. She'll be back on her feet in no time. Enoch agreed. Yes. I hope she recovers soon, so she can go out like you and your sister do. Hearing this, Yulia asked tentatively. Princess Vivian is unwell? Enoch's eyes dimmed. It's nothing. Too serious, but I hope you can keep this a secret. Enoch lowered his voice. Today, I'm only telling you this one secret. According to His Highness the Crown Prince, Princess Vivian's skin began to deteriorate rapidly when she was around 10 years old. Because of that, she developed severe social anxiety and refuses to leave her room all day. Except for the Crown Prince and a few of her closest handmaidens, she refuses to see anyone. But she's still very curious about the trends and fashions of high society. That's why I came to the tailor shop today. She wants to know, what kind of dresses are popular recently? Enoch clasped his hands together. I thought if I shared stories about the outside world, it might spark her desire to go out on her own. The reason I'm explaining all this to you is because I've recently noticed. The Duchess's skin has improved significantly. You haven't used any products containing lead, yet her skin has become incredibly clear. Enoch's gaze shifted to Yulia. If you have any secrets for improving skin, I was hoping you could share them with me. Enoch leaned forward, pleading earnestly. If you could share that secret with me, I will be sure to repay your kindness. He wasn't using the favor from before to pressure her, nor was he showing off his status as an aide to the Crown Prince. He doesn't seem like a typical member of the royal court, Yulia thought to herself. What an interesting person, Yulia replied. Your Highness, the reason my mother's skin improved is because of the cosmetics I gave her. Enoch's eyes lit up. Really? If I were to give her something similar? Yulia immediately cut him off. No. Yulia's expression was stern. I'm very sorry, but that's impossible, the Duchess murmured. Yulia explained. Everyone's skin type is different. I can't guarantee the cosmetics ingredients will be suitable for her. I can't recommend the same product. There could be side effects. Enoch's face fell. Is that so? The room fell into silence. Yulia lightly tapped her lips with her fingertip. Lost in thought. I need to see the princess in person. Enoch turned his head. You mean? Face to face. Yulia's gaze was determined. Yes. After all, the person who made my mother's cosmetics was me. The royal palace. At the princess's residence, a handmaiden was pushing a food cart. Grumbling to herself. This is so weird. Why'd I have to deliver food to the princess's palace all by myself? It's already a huge pain just to bring it over. How will I have time to clean up afterward? She stopped in front of the door and reached out to knock. Your Highness, the handmaiden announced in a loud voice. Your meal is ready. There was only dead silence from inside the door. The maid felt uneasy. Why wasn't there any response? Should I go in? The princess is very ill. If I go in, will I get infected too? Dahlia's voice came from behind her. Is this your first time here? She spun around, startled. Ah, yes. Dahlia warned her, from now on, just leave the princess's meal at the door and knock. She doesn't like to be disturbed. Whatever you do, don't go inside. Dahlia stood before the door and knocked gently. Your Highness, it's Dahlia. There's no one else here. It's just me. A faint voice came from within the room. Come in. A few days ago, an invitation arrived from the Crown Prince. It was delivered to the Duke's residence. A guard took the letter, sealed with wax. His eyes filled with confusion. It's not for me, it's for Lady Julia. Are you sure you have the right person? The guard asked, his expression stern. No, he confirmed. His Highness specifically asked to see Lady Julia of House Primrose. Outside the window, the royal carriage had been waiting for some time. Resting her chin on her hand, Julia recalled her meeting with the Crown Prince a few days prior. He had said, you came so quickly. Yes, the person who makes the cosmetics my mother uses. Is me, Julia replied calmly. Yes, I see what you mean, Enoch said, taken aback for a moment. Really? No, I'm not doubting your abilities, but... Julia lowered her gaze. For an ordinary noble lady like myself, it's hard for people to believe I'm the one who made them. Besides, until now, there haven't been any cosmetics on the market with such remarkable effects. Currently, people on the market only use powder ground from monster horns mixed with milk on their skin. Getting trapped in a vicious cycle of just covering up blemishes with foundation. Julia recalled the days and nights she had spent engrossed in her research. My mother has always been frail. I just didn't want her using poor quality cosmetics. That's why I kept researching, even growing the plants myself. To create the cosmetics. Julia looked up. Her gaze was steady. I've told you everything. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. I only ask that you keep this a secret. Enoch changed the subject. Well then, Lady Primrose. I have a favor to ask of you. Julia's train of thought came to a sudden halt. Enoch smiled. If you would be willing to meet my sister, I would be most grateful. It might take some time to persuade her. So I ask for your patience. Julia gazed out the window. I wonder what it would be like if you were my brother. Once again, I find myself envying the princess. A guard bowed. Lady Julia Primrose? We will depart as soon as you are on board. Just as Julia was about to step into the carriage, an urgent voice called out from behind her. Sister. Lyrica ran up to the imperial carriage, panting. What in the world is going on? Yulia turned around. Her expression was calm. You're certainly well informed. It was just a coincidence. I'm leaving now. Lyrica was furious. Just a coincidence? What did you do? She abruptly stepped in front of Yulia. Ah, I'm sorry, I just... Yulia shot her a cold glare. Are you openly ignoring me? What are you? Could you say that again? Lyrica frantically waved her hands. Oh, please don't misunderstand. I was just worried. You've never handled anything important before, it's just... She lowered her head, her voice tinged with a hint of resentment. If it's a family matter, wouldn't it be more appropriate for me to go? Yulia watched her with cold eyes. So you're finally showing your true colors. Thinking back to before her rebirth, Lyrica had always been very interested in the imperial palace. Especially the crown prince. She would try anything to attend banquets where the crown prince was present. Her intentions were painfully obvious. Sister, Lyrica's voice turned shrill. You just broke off your engagement not long ago. With so many people watching, shouldn't you be keeping a low profile? It would be better if I went in your place. The surrounding knights began to whisper among themselves. How could she say something so rude? Yulia let out a soft laugh. You want to casually replace the person summoned by the royal family? A cold smile played on her lips. Are you just getting impatient, or have you completely crossed the line? Lyrica quickly changed her tune. I can get ready right away. I'm sorry, but... The guard's expression was grim. His Highness, the Crown Prince, has summoned Miss Julia Primrose. If you delay any longer, I'm afraid there will be consequences. Lyrica's body stiffened. Really? It's that simple? The guard answered firmly. Yes, that is correct. Lyrica immediately lowered her eyes. I'm sorry, I overstepped. I was just so worried about you, sister. Yulia no longer paid her any attention. Lyrica put on a brilliant smile. Have a wonderful time, sister. Yulia's expression darkened. I know you must be feeling down. Did you think I wouldn't know what kind of mask you were hiding behind that smile? Now, I can play the same game as you. Yulia turned back to her. Lyrica, thank you. Your words were very enlightening. I had no idea you understood how I felt so well. Just as you were worried, I might run into some trouble. Vicious rumors are terrifying, aren't they? Whether in the past or the present, even if you didn't mean to. The rumors about you seducing my fiancé are still quite unsettling. I will make you feel what it's like to have your heart torn to shreds. Advice from someone with experience shouldn't be ignored, right, sister? You haven't forgotten what mother asked you, have you? Instead of worrying about me, you should be worrying about yourself. Like why you wore the same color dress as Vieira, pretending to be a couple. Instead of making excuses, you'd be better off thinking hard about how to solve this. It's more to your advantage. This is my most sincere advice as your big sister. Lyrica was left standing there alone, lost in silence. Lyrica suddenly realized. I had my suspicions from the start, so it really was you. Yulia, you're the one who planned all this, aren't you? Lyrica's gaze cut through the darkness. Yes. She let out a soft laugh. This is how it should be. How interesting. Just you wait and see. A guard gently placed his hand on hers, guiding her down from the carriage. Her footsteps were crisp. Miss Yulia Primrose, we have arrived. Yulia stepped into the banquet hall. Her gaze sharpened. I will take everything from you. After passing through the palace entrance, it was still a long walk. Before she finally reached the princess's palace. I was the one who suggested this. But I'm still a little nervous about meeting her. A lady-in-waiting bowed. I am Her Highness the Princess's personal attendant, Dahlia. We've been expecting you, Miss Yulia Primrose. Dahlia turned to lead the way. I will show you the way. Please, follow me. Yulia agreed softly. All right. At the end of a long corridor was the princess's chamber. Dahlia stopped before the door. Her Highness, it is I brought Miss Primrose. A voice came from inside the room. Come in. Yulia curtsied. It is an honor to meet you, Your Highness. I am from the Dukes. The princess cut her off. Spare me the pleasantries. Yulia was taken aback. The princess's voice came from behind a veil. Sit. Miss Yulia Primrose. Yulia lifted her teacup. This tea is wonderful. What kind does Your Highness normally prefer? The princess didn't answer, merely sitting in silence. Yulia forced a stiff smile. I'm going to lose my mind. She's been like this for an hour. I need to build some trust first. Before I can bring up the topic of skincare. But she's so guarded around me. It's impossible to get through to her. Just as Yulia was at her wit's end, the princess tapped her chin with her fingertips. Why would my brother bring someone like her here? Even I've heard the rumors about Yulia Primrose. She clenched her fists. Hot-tempered, rude, and foolish. A troublemaker, too. Nothing at all like a noble lady. And yet, I still agreed to see her. The princess recalled what had happened earlier. Your Highness, your condition is quite severe, isn't it? That's right. She used to be so beautiful. But now, my skin. Those words they don't dare say to my face. It's all just mindless gossip. Why should I have to put up with any of this? The princess's fingers clenched. It's not like I asked to be this way. Lyrica covered her mouth, stifling a laugh. Oh, don't be so cruel, everyone. Of course, if my skin looked like that, I wouldn't want to live either. The princess's silhouette emerged from the darkness. But even so, I still admire you, Your Highness. To be able to face everything with such dignity. Honestly, Miss Lyrica Primrose is much more beautiful now. Look at Miss Lyrica's skin, it's like porcelain. Absolutely flawless. If that were me, I wouldn't even dare to leave my own home. What do they know? I hate this. If I have to live like this, I'd rather. Lyrica. In my memory, a young Yuria shot up from her seat. Sister, she demanded angrily, who do you think you are? Why would you say something like that? Back then, she was the only one who stood up for me. And, the princess's thoughts returned to the present. Miss, how did you come to know His Highness, the Crown Prince? It's because of my brother. He's a reliable person, and I trust him. Yuria smiled. Actually, I ran into a bit of trouble recently. His Highness happened to be passing by and helped me. I ran into my former fiancé at the tailor shop. He was threatening me, and His Highness stepped in to stop him. Yuria's hand gently stroked her arm, as if reliving that warmth. The princess shot to her feet. Oh my goodness, what happened? If it weren't for him, I think my bones might have been broken. Marcel, Vieira? He's a terrible person. Yuria's hand was suddenly gripped tightly. If that were me, I would have. I mean, really, why were you ever engaged to someone like that? Yuria was taken aback, and the princess quickly let go of her hand. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I went too far. You couldn't have known what he was like when you got engaged. The princess tapped her chin with her fingertip. Seeing her like this, she almost seems like a normal girl my age. In any case, the atmosphere softened. Yuria leaned forward. Your Highness, I believe the Crown Prince may have mentioned this to you, but everyone's skin type is different. That's why I believe you must use products that are custom-made just for you. And that is why I came to see you today. She lifted her gaze. If you'll allow me, could I see your face? The princess remained silent behind her veil. Yuria offered a gentle smile. It won't be for long. I'll be very quick. My face. She wants to see this hideous face of mine. But if she sees my face, she can cure me? The princess's fingers twitched. You're not a certified doctor or a priest. That sharp tone, it was her way of protecting herself. To her, I must seem like someone untrustworthy. An unsettling stranger, but even so, the princess's hands, resting on her lap, clenched into tight fists. fact that she agreed to meet with me means she's trying to hold on to even the slimmest sliver of hope. Yuria's voice was calm and sincere. Just as you said, Your Highness. I am neither a priest nor a doctor. My mother's recovery may have just been a stroke of luck. My products might not have any effect on you, either. She paused slightly. The princess's body stiffened. But I came here for you, Your Highness. Yulia took the princess's hand. I can't guarantee any results. But I will do everything in my power to help you. The princess's voice carried a hint of, to be honest, I'm surprised. You can't promise to cure me, or even guarantee any improvement. She was silent for a moment. But your answer, strangely, makes me feel like I can trust you. The princess placed her hand over the back of Yulia's. I've heard countless promises that I would definitely get better. Not a single one ever came true. The princess's voice was firm. Then, Yulia Primrose, she slowly raised her hand. And lifted her veil. I believe you. Yulia's fingertips lightly touched the veil. Then, please forgive my boldness. When the veil was lifted, the princess's condition was worse than I had imagined. Yulia's gaze was calm. Your Highness, what treatments have you received so far? The princess's voice was hollow. My father, the emperor, once summoned priests from the temple to treat me, but it was only a temporary improvement. I never truly recovered. Even the saintess and the mages were helpless. The princess's gaze fell. So, Miss Primrose, I don't have high hopes for you, either. Besides, because of a personal matter, I wasted the divine power that should have been used for the sick. Even if I were to be cured, I would have no face to show the people of the empire. I've already gotten used to this quiet life I have now. So, Yulia Primrose, don't push yourself too hard. Yulia's expression flickered. When I first came here, I only wanted to repay His Highness the Crown Prince for his kindness. But now, she clenched her fists. I want to help the girl in front of me. This has nothing to do with any debt of gratitude. Yulia withdrew her gaze. Your Highness, the examination is complete. Thank you for your patience. The princess raised her hand to put her veil back on. It's hardly patience. Looking at me must have been much harder for you. As Yulia and the princess walked side by side down the long corridor, she said, we need to prepare the lavender and aloe vera first. Lavender is common, but aloe vera might be difficult to find. Yulia lightly touched her chin with her fingertips. If I want to soothe her skin. Asterisk. Aloe vera is essential. I need to gather the ingredients. Asterisk. And find a place to grow them. The princess stopped walking. Miss Yulia, you may use the garden in the princess's palace. It's rarely visited by anyone, so it's the perfect place to make your cosmetics without being disturbed. Just let me know what ingredients you need. Yulia was about to reply. There's no need, the princess continued. I heard that you use plants blessed by the Primrose family to make your cosmetics, correct? You've done so much for us. At the very least, let me help you with this small thing. The princess's tone left no room for argument. This is an order from the royal family. Yulia was slightly taken aback. I understand, she replied. As I said before, I cannot guarantee the results. But I can assure you, it's better than that suspicious powder made from monster bones. Even if my cosmetics aren't to your liking, please stay away from that stuff. The princess's voice came from behind her veil. I knew all along they were useless. She turned her head. But why keep the fact that you're making cosmetics a secret? If you succeed, this could clearly raise your status. Yulia lowered her eyes. My reputation isn't very good. Being associated with me won't do you any good, Your Highness. The princess's thoughts drifted. How shameful and regrettable. Even I initially judged her because of those nasty rumors, even though she once helped me when I was young. The princess's voice pulled Yulia back to reality. Miss Yulia, you should have more confidence in yourself, and you don't need to worry about my reputation. Your Highness, Enoch said with a smile. So you were both here. He approached the two of them. How did the talk go? The princess bowed slightly. Brother, what are you doing here? You didn't even say you were coming. Yulia curtsied. Greetings, Your Highness the Crown Prince. Enoch's gaze shifted to Yulia. I'm sorry for inviting you only to make you face this alone. But, he looked at his sister. Vivian, it seems you've really opened up to Miss Primrose. This is the first time I've seen you talk with someone for this long since Dahlia. The princess's cheeks flushed under her veil. Brother, what are you talking about? Enoch watched the two of them. Seeing you bicker like this. Vivian pushed Enoch away. Just get out. He laughed. You two get along so well. Enoch turned to Yulia. Miss Yulia, are you leaving now? He extended his hand. I'll escort you to the carriage. Let's go. The princess looked through the window. As she gazed at the departing carriage, Enoch's voice rang out. Vivian, I can't believe you were alone with someone for so long. What do you think of her? Vivian answered. Yulia Primrose? She's different from the other noble ladies. It's been a long time since I've heard you say that, Enoch said. How is she different? Vivian's voice was low. She doesn't treat me with cheap pity. Not in the past, and not now. She looked up. Don't you think so too, brother? Enoch fell into a memory. What I remember is, in my memory, a pair of hands reached out to the fallen Enoch. Your Highness. Yulia bent down. Are you alright? Her smile was as warm as light. Enoch chuckled softly. It's hard to admit, isn't it? The corners of Vivian's mouth lifted slightly under her veil. No comment. Oh, is that so? Vivian turned around. How boring. I'm leaving. Footsteps echoed. Enoch watched her back. My official duties for the day are done. Vivian stopped at the door. I need to prepare the things I promised Julia, for Primrose. She turned to her lady-in-waiting. Alia, get Miss Primrose's list. Place an order with the largest and fastest merchant guild in Liaofang. The lady-in-waiting bowed and accepted the command. Yes, your highness, the princess added. The door closed softly. Enoch touched his chin with his fingertips. I hope I wasn't too obvious. Later, at the Primrose estate, Julia let out a long sigh of relief. It's finally done. She stared at the glowing green seed in her hand.